What is up? It's Tom McGregor, and if you're new here, welcome, and if you're back, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be covering exactly how we took my client Nate from being skinny fat, with love handles, with a gut, with man boobs, to being completely shredded with six-pack abs and a nice V-taper back, losing 25 pounds within 90 days, so you can do the exact same thing. Genuinely, by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how you can lose 25 pounds in the next 90 days, because at the point in this video, summer is getting close. I want you to be lean, I want you to be shredded, I want you to be in the best shape of your life. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Tom McGregor. Lost 40 pounds, competed in a couple bodybuilding shows, and gave up all vices, and I truly just want to give that back. So let's get into it. So what we're going to cover is the setup and the start point. Right, we've got to set a clear direction in the beginning. Then we're going to go over Nate's adjustments over every single solitary step of the way, so that you know what to expect every single solitary step of the way. Then we're going to go into refeeds and how to use them and what they actually are, to make sure that you can stay on track with your diet over the whole 90 days. Then we're going to go into different training styles to make sure that you're not losing any of the muscle that you've already got, and in fact, even maybe building some as well. Then we're going to get into mindset. Right, I have to cover mindset, because 80% of people that lose weight end up putting it back on, and that is the absolute last thing that I want to happen to you, and that all comes down to your mindset, right? So we're going to cover 0 to 2 weeks, 2 weeks to 4 weeks, 4 weeks to 6, 6 weeks to 8, 8 weeks to 10, and then 10 weeks to 12. So you're getting literally every single solitary step of the way, and I cannot wait to give this to you. So week 0 to 2 is building the foundation through proper eating and training habits. And the reason that I bring this up is because so many people I see struggle with it. Same thing with Nate, right? He said to me when he came to me, he's like, well, I'm working out during the week. I'm eating clean during the week. I've been consistent for like 2 years, but I'm not seeing the results that I want. And I stopped him in that moment. I asked him, well, what are you doing on the weekends? Are you consistent on the weekend? I know this sounds cliche, and I know it sounds dumb, but it's true, right? And he said to me, nah, I eat out on the weekends. I go have a few beers with my mates. And I said to him, and I ask you in this very moment right now, I ask you, are you willing to commit to eating these foods over the next 90 days to completely change your physique and your mindset towards food and the way you look, the way you appear? So I asked you in this moment, and I asked Nate the exact same question, and he said yes. Right, and that's all we need. If you can tell yourself right now that you're committing to yourself for the next 90 days to eating these foods, I guarantee you, you will unlock the dream physique that you want. But you have to commit right now in this very moment. Right, once we got him to commit, on here, I sent him an onboarding form. This is just normal generic stuff in the beginning, like height, weight, and age, current work schedule. But what I want to show you here is this one. Right, what is your number one focus over the next 4 weeks? We need you to set your mind over this next 4 weeks on the one goal that you have, which is to lose fat, which is what this video is about. I need you to set your mind on that and decide right now, because when you do that, we can actually unlock what is truly holding you back. And that's what I asked Nate. What is your biggest struggle right now stopping you from achieving the answer above? Because there's normally 1 or 2 things that are stopping us from getting us where we want to go. Right? Is it your nutrition and habits? Is it your mindset? Is it your training? Is it your habits as a whole? Or is it your accountability? Which is it? Because when you decide in here what it is, I'm going to show you exactly how we can overcome this barrier to make sure that you actually lose the weight that you want to lose. And then we get into current calorie intake and macro breakdown, how many days he's currently training, and into your workout split, if any. Now, the reason that I bring that up is because he was already working out, like I said. Right, but he was working out 5 days a week, 5 days in a row, and that is just not adequate. What I recommend is having no more than 3 days on, and then 1 day off, and then 2 days on. Never train more than 5 days in a week, and certainly don't do 5 days in a row. But what I want you to do here is I'm actually going to tell you to go on a 4-day workout split. Train each muscle group once per week at least. This is the easiest way to stay consistent. Monday, Tuesday train, have Wednesday off, then Thursday, Friday, right? You can mix and play with whatever you want, but this is exactly what I did with Nate, and then we added in an active recovery. And the reason that I tell you, and I'm telling you this, is because he was doing 12 to 15 working sets, like high intensity sets per workout, right? All he was doing was fatiguing the muscle, and that's why he wasn't making any progress. He wasn't building any muscle. Right? That's why he looks skinny fat, because the muscle didn't even have time to recover at all. So make sure that you're only training each muscle group at least once. What I recommend is put chest with biceps, then put back with triceps, so put a big muscle with a small muscle. It's very easy to do it that way. That's what we did with Nate, and then we added in the active recovery day, which was some core and some low intensity steady state cardio, just because he wanted some cardio in there to burn some extra fat. But none of this actually matters, genuinely none of this matters, and I'm sure you've heard it before, without understanding your diet, without understanding how to make these into your diet and eat these consistently over the next 90 days. So I'm going to show you exactly how we set up your diet and how we set up Nate's over the next 90 days to make sure that you're sticking with it and you know exactly how much you need to be eating every single day. I'm going to be doing it literally right now with you. Right, so you're going to come over here. It's this website called NASM, and I will literally even Google it with you. NASM. You're going to enter that, and it loads. Then you should be able to put your email here, and then from here, you're going to put in your start weight, which is obviously whatever you weigh right now. Then you're going to put in your height. He was 5'10", and he was 21 years old. Now, when you click here, I want you to be very careful. I want you to go one below what you actually think you are in here. This will give you that little bit of buffer, because most people think that they're more active than what they actually are. So I want you to put yourself one below, and this will allow the calories that it gives you to make sure that you actually are in a deficit, because we want to get quick wins. We want to get quick wins in the beginning. This is exactly how Nate lost 4 pounds within 1 week, and then 7 pounds within 2 weeks, right? So he's actually extremely active on here, but I put him as very active. As very active. So put yourself one below, and this will give you that little bit of a buffer. Then we're going to come in here, and we're going to come in here. I don't know if you guys can hear that chicken, but it's kind of annoying, but it's in the background, so we're just going to have to deal with it. So we're going to come in here, and we're going to put in 169 pounds, because we want to lose 20 pounds, 25 pounds in the next 90 days. We're going to put 90 days in here. We're going to make sure that that's actually all right. You're going to click that, and you're going to click enter. And it's going to give you this, and we're going to skip this. I'm going to show you how to do this in a second. And then it's going to give you your total calorie goal that you want to be working towards over the next 90 days. This will guarantee you that you lose the weight as long as you do exactly what I'm about to show you next. So make sure you watch this part and you do that part properly, and you will guaranteed hit your goal eating the foods that I'm about to show you. Right? So I've put it in here, is that we want protein to be extremely high, right? Because we're losing weight at quite an aggressive rate, and we don't want to lose any muscle at the exact same time. And I've also got the fats quite high here as well, because we want to keep our testosterone levels nice and high. We want to keep our hormones going so we aren't losing our energy, so we aren't getting hungry during the process. That's why I recommend 40% protein when you make your diet. I can't make your diet for you on here, but literally do 40% of your diet protein, 30% carbs. They're going to fuel your workout. Just do it. Eat them about an hour and a half before your workout, and then healthy fats. You want to be having them as well to make sure, like I said, the testosterone levels stay nice and high. This is exactly what I had Nate on as well. You do have an option here of 35, 35, 30. I just prefer this. It's the safest option, so you don't lose muscle and you keep your testosterone really, really high. And during the first 2 weeks, what I want you to make sure that you do is you track your weight like we did with Nate every single solitary morning, with no food in you, with no water in you. Right? This is because sometimes you're going to take a shit. Sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're going to have extra water in you, sometimes you're not. Right? And the point of this is that we're going to take the average over the 2 weeks to make sure from the beginning and where you are after the 2 weeks that you actually lost the weight, and that's exactly what I did with Nate. Then, of course, after a week, we jumped on a one-on-one call to make sure that he was being accountable. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was down 4 pounds within 1 week. As you can see here, we jumped on a one-on-one call. And after 13 days, he was down 7 pounds as well. So that's how well this works if you truly do what I just told you exactly how to do. And then I want you to hit 10K steps per day as well. Now, he's a builder, so what we did with him, we didn't have to add in too much extra cardio. We had that one extra recovery day, but if you're not a builder, you're not very active, what I recommend is first thing in the morning when you wake up, get straight outside, go on a walk, get 2,500, 5,000 steps in. Give yourself an extra 20 minutes a day just to do that, just to win the morning so you're not struggling at night when you don't feel like doing it after work. I promise you, it's actually a God's gift to just wake up, get that fresh air going in your mind, get some steps in, win the morning. That way you don't have to worry about doing too much heavy cardio, right? No sprinting, no long runs, none of that bullshit. All we're doing is low intensity, steady state cardio, hit 10K steps per day, just like we did with Nate. And this is week 2 to 4, and this is where most people will give up, because one of two things happen. Either the weight drops or you'll hit a plateau, right? And what I want you to notice here is that Nate here, he's definitely seen some progress in the first 0 to 2 weeks, and then 2 to 4 weeks. But this is where most people will give up, because they think in their heads, they're expecting this big transformation, this big result physically. And when you can't see it, when you can't really see the big difference, that's when it starts to play a toll on your head. So what I need you to do in this time is to stop focusing on what you actually look like and start focusing on whether the scale is moving down and at what pace it's moving down. And that's what we focused on. That's the importance of getting a coach, having someone there to see you and look at you and make sure that you're staying on track with your goals, because I can look at this photo and I can tell him that he is making progress, that there is gaps, that there is more lines coming through his back, right? So you need to make sure that person that I told you that's holding you accountable, just make sure you take progress photos and show them, right? Show them, keep consistent, and they should be able to spot the gaps that you can't see, because we're always blinded by our own thoughts. As you know, it's very easy to get stuck in our own heads. Now, what I want you to know is that two things, like I said, will happen. The weight either drops, and if that happens, keep it, right? Just keep it going. We don't need to drop any more than what we need to be. But if you hit a plateau, you either decrease your food or you increase your cardio. And I prefer to increase cardio, and it's what I did with Nate, right? To keep your food high so you're more full. So towards the back end, when we get to the latter of the 90 days, you've still got quite a lot of food, you've still got quite a lot of calories left, so you're not really fucking hungry at the end, and we're keeping our testosterone levels nice and high at the exact same time. So what I recommend is add 20 minutes of low intensity, steady state cardio at the end of each session, and I guarantee you the weight will start to drop again, right? And that's it for week 2 to 4. Make sure you do not give up. Get someone to hold you accountable, and make sure if you do end up at a plateau, you implement this, or you can drop the food, you can drop it by 400 calories, whichever one you prefer, but I truly recommend you should be doing the low intensity steady state for later on in the process of the 90 days. Weeks 4 to 6, honestly, with Nate, there was no adjustments needed. He was dropping 2 pounds per week. This is where I want to take a lesson for you. Just never drop unless you absolutely have to. Never drop unless you actually have to, right? Because our bodies adjust really quickly. So if you're eating 4,000 calories, then you go to 2,500 calories, your body is going to adjust really quickly to that. And then you're just going to end up in this constant cycle of going down, when you may as well have started at 4,000, then gone down to 3,500. Right? So make sure you never drop unless you actually have to. If the weight is moving down at any more than 2 pounds per week, you're probably going to be losing muscle. Now, I said in the beginning that Nate, he lost 4 pounds in the first week, and that is just because of water weight at the exact same time as well. Right? So in the beginning, expect to lose a bit of water weight as well. But I'm just saying, if you're losing any more than 2 pounds per week, you're probably losing muscle. So make sure you never drop the calories or increase the cardio unless you absolutely have to. And this is week 6 to 8, and this is where diet fatigue kicked in specifically for Nate, and we used a refeed to refill. And what a refeed really is basically a high carb day. You're adding in, going back to that maintenance level that we first worked out in the NASM over there. That first maintenance level that it gave you, I want you to eat at a day there and just increase the calories that you're eating by healthy carbs to that amount, right? Just one day, and that'll replenish your glycogen stores. It'll make you look really damn full and completely replenish your body. And then we use carb cycling for 1 week on training days. Right, and what this is basically you just have extra carbs, like an extra 100 grams, add them into the training days, because it's very easy at this point to be stuck in that position where you're doing all this work, you feel low energy, you feel just like in a bit of a rut, like you're doing all this work. So it's nice to have a little bit of extra carbs, and the workout's just going to get that little bit better. He was still dropping 2 pounds per week, which is why we implemented this. So if you do get to a point like this where you are in diet fatigue, have one day where you increase your carbs to replenish these glycogen stores, and then carb cycle for 1 week on the training days, on the 4 days per week that you are training, and that way you will replenish yourself for the last 8 to 12 weeks, where it's really going to kick in, and you're going to see it in just a second, because this is where it really started to kick in. You can see the abs come through, and this is why a refeed works really, really damn well, right? Because you can see the skin tighten up. You can see the lines starting to come through for Nate here. You can see the abs starting to come through just after this refeed, and we adjusted here by dropping by about 250 calories. But I want you to understand the importance of having a refeed and a little bit of carb cycling in the middle there, right? I'm not saying go blow out your calories a heap. I'm saying go back to your maintenance for one day, and then during the week also add about 100 grams of carbs on your training days, right? That's it. So you should be doing no higher carbs, no higher amount of calories than more than 5 days. One of those extremely high day, and then 4 of those just like add in an extra snack of carbs, right, of healthy carbs. Don't go eating crap. We want to stay on diet over the whole time, and that will just allow your body to adjust and fill you up that little bit more, have your muscles actually popping through your skin. The lines here are going to start coming through at this point in time for you as well. We adjusted here for Nate by dropping calories by about 250, and then the training split adjustment that we made here is that we went higher volume, hypertrophy based training split. So I said in the beginning, right, he was doing very high volume, right, which is okay, but he was so fatigued of doing that for so long over and over and over again. What we did is we brought it right back, we reset his muscles, and that way now when we increase the volume to back to a hypertrophy based training split by maybe not so much, right, but what we're doing is higher reps, right? Same amount of sets, but what we're going to do is higher reps, drop the weight a little bit, and we're going to be using hypertrophy based training here. So after about 8 to 10 weeks, what I want you to do in the beginning of the 8 weeks is change your split to a bit higher volume, increase the reps a bit, drop the weight just a tiny bit. This way you're going to keep the muscle that you've already got and not build a little bit more on top. And that's really it for the 8 to 10 week period. And then weeks 10 to 12, the final touches. All right, the diet stayed the same. We were preparing out for a reverse diet, and there's 2 options when it comes to reverse dieting. And this is a fucking thing because it's very, very hot here. So I'm just going to wipe off. Not the most attractive thing to do in the middle of a video, but it's very, very hot here. It's a beautiful day. Summer's definitely coming. But there's 2 options when it comes to reverse dieting. You can go straight back to maintenance. So once you hit that 12-week mark, you can go straight back to what it told you in the beginning. But what I don't recommend is that, because when you do that, you risk the chance of putting some fat back on, which is fine. It's okay to put some little bit of fat back on, and I'm not saying it's not. But if you want to stay in the condition that you're in with the weight that you've lost, I recommend going in a 200 calorie surplus from diet through increasing your carbohydrates. Increasing your carbohydrates specifically. We want to start replenishing yourself. We want to start filling you back up, especially after being in such a deficit for so long. Make sure that it is by an increase in carbohydrates, nothing else, and make sure that they're fucking healthy. Make sure that you keep eating the same food that you ate over these 90 days. We want to keep the habits, we want to keep the discipline, and we want to make sure that this becomes a lifestyle. We want to make sure that this actually becomes your life, where you truly fall in love with this process, and that's why I recommend going slightly in a calorie surplus, reverse dieting out properly so you don't get any body dysmorphia, anything like that, by going straight back to maintenance and seeing your fat come back on. What I recommend truly is this one. This is fine if you're okay in your mind with being like, okay, I am going to put on a little bit of fat. But what I recommend to make sure there's no body dysmorphia is to go in a 200 calorie surplus from diet on the reverse diet out, and then you will eventually get back to that maintenance. This just skips the fact that you don't have to look at yourself in the mirror and think, I'm getting fat, am I getting fat? No. We just want to go 200 calorie surplus from the diet through increasing carbs, fill yourself back up, fill your muscles up, and I can guarantee you, you'll start looking like really full when you look at yourself in the mirror, and you won't look so depleted. And that is the final of the 12-week process. And then we're going to go into quick mindset training, right? Because there's a version of you that is disciplined for these 90 days, but there's also the version of you that's probably right now, like Nate was, inconsistent, really likes justification, really easy, likes quick wins, says I'll start tomorrow, has all these excuses in our head, and we want to get that bullshit out of our head, right? Because this isn't just a fucking 20-day challenge. Sure, this will help you lose 20 25 pounds in 90 days. But what I want you to know is I want you to keep it off for the rest of your life. I want you to actually know that you did the work in the mirror, and every single day that you show up after that, that you stuck to it, you kept it. Because 80% of people, like I said, they can't even do it. They can't even do it. They can't even stick to it after they've lost it. Why? Because they haven't changed their mindset on becoming this person as an actual person. They don't believe that they're this type of person. But that's why we track everything. That's why I want you to track every single solitary thing, so you have it right in front of your very eyes that you've done the work, and that is proof to you that you are the person that you became, right? Because this person, he eats clean all the time now. He doesn't miss a workout ever. He hits 10K steps per day, every single solitary day. He eats in a calorie deficit, right? Or he eats at maintenance every single solitary day, unless you end up wanting to bulk a bit further down the line. But you stay disciplined to your word. You eat clean. You hit your workouts. You stick to your promises. You keep the trust in yourself. There's this version of you that is here all the time, with everything, right? And that's what I want you to get to. I want you to get that in your mind, that this isn't just like a 90-day fix where these foods are going to solve your problem. No, this is a lifestyle change where you hit the workouts, where you start to enjoy it, where you start to look at yourself in the mirror and you're proud of yourself in your heart, right? But the only difference is that change feels hard. Change feels difficult, right? Changing your mindset to become someone new, trying to get rid of this person, he's going to keep coming back. He's going to keep attacking you. He's going to get every little window of opportunity to come back, to come attack you, to make sure that you go back. Why? Because we like to stay exactly where we are, because it feels comfortable, because we're used to it. Even if it's bad for us, it's pretty generic stuff to understand that working out, it's good for you. Losing weight, it's good for you. But why don't we do it? It's because we're so used to being exactly where we are, even if it feels comfortable, even if it's bad for us, we prefer just to stay there. So we have to become this whole new person in our mind and understand that this person right here, this is a lifestyle. This is the new you, right? And what we're going to do here is we're going to show you, like I said, there's version 1.0 of you and there's version 2.0 of you, right? He will always try to hold you back until you absolutely know in your mind that you will never go back, right? And I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, because this is the version 2.0 of you. This is an action item that I want you to do right now so you can actually get results like my client Nate. I want you to get a photo of your exact physique that you want. Exact physique that you want. The exact amount of weight that you want to lose that we've already talked about, that I've already showed you. But I want you to get it in your head that that is your goal. That is the person that you're becoming. It's not just a goal, it's a life change. It's a mindset change. It's a belief about who you are change. Because we have to get rid of the old habits, and we want to list down every single daily habit that it's going to take to get there. Every single daily habit that it's going to take to get there, right? And I'll give them to you. Just track your calories, right? At least in the beginning. When you work out your food in the beginning, I recommend just eating the same thing every day, and then we can change it every couple of weeks, swap out the meats. That's what I did with Nate as well, is that we can change these things after a couple of weeks. We just want to see some progress, and the easiest way to do that is by eating the same thing every single solitary day, hitting the 4 workouts a day, hitting the 10K steps per day, and making sure that you're keeping the trust in here because you're focused on this one goal and one goal only towards becoming this new person, right? Think about the family man that you actually want to be. Think about him. Who is he? Who is he? Right? Create this version in your head. Create this vision of who you actually become, what you actually want to look like. Right? And then write down 3 other life goals that are just fun. That's what I do with my clients as well. That's what I got my client Jacob on as well. We're working towards, he just wants to become a better man. He wants to give up nicotine. We're working on all these other small habits as well, right? To make sure that we're evolving in all areas of life. So write down 3 life goals. Actually envision this man and actually start to become by taking the list of daily habits and taking action every single day. One thing that I recommend is whenever you're doing cardio, whenever you're doing your walk, just constantly think about that person. What decisions does he make? And the real hack to all of this is make the tough decisions. Make the tough decisions, not with who you are right now, but with the 2.0 version of you. Make those decisions on what he would make. Make those decisions based on what he would make. No one else, just you. Right? Make the decisions not on who you are right now, because who you are right now is just because of the habits that you have, and we're changing those to become a brand new person. So ask yourself what is the person in the future that I want to become? What is the actions that he's going to take right now? And I guarantee you, when you start making decisions based on that person, you're going to be so damn successful at losing weight. So damn successful. All right, and I thank you very much for watching this video. I really genuinely hope that it helped. I'm sorry if there was any background noises or anything like that. I'm sure there's plenty, because there was a chicken, there was some kids screaming, I could hear them. But at the end of the day, if you watch right through to this video, I guarantee you, you're the type of person that wants the results, that knows that they need it in their life, just like my client Nate did. And if that is you, there's a link in the description. You can book a call to work with me or see if you're a good fit for my program here at No Return Fitness and Mindset. And I truly, with my whole heart, really do want you to get the results. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it helped you immensely get in the best shape of your life. Let me know down below if it helped. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one.